Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I'm back again for the third and probably the final installment in this series where I am making a set of Kendra's Card Challenge number 21 cards featuring the Not Too Shabby Shop Paper Pad Club of the month. And more specifically, I'm using the Paper Pad Squeeze of the Day, which does have a coordinating ephemera pack that goes with it. And in episode 1, what you would have seen if you watched it is how I choose my 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern papers and how to cut each and every single one of them. So if you struggle with cutting your papers, that's a really good video to watch because you can actually see in real time. And I talk you through how to determine where your next cut should be and how I approach the cutting. In episode 2, what I did, and this is just my process, but I actually prepared each of these little baggies, not just with the cuts from the original 6 sheets of pattern paper, but I also started to cut mats and layers, and I added some extra scraps for options of little areas where I might have a sentiment banner, for example. And so I've got pretty much everything that I need to start assembling all of these cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up a fair amount of this video, but I think straight out of the gates, maybe one of the things that some folks might struggle a little bit with are the circles. And on the sketches, you'll see it denoted like this. And you can really use any circle dies that you might happen to have. Okay, so I've got my nested circle dies here. And you'll see that in some of the sketches, it shows paper D, for example. It will show you that we need a 2¼ inch circle, 2-inch circle, 1¼ inch circle. Here we have paper A. That's going to be the first one that I cut, since there are 2 circles needed here, 3-inch and 2½ inch. Now, where can you get circle dies? I always recommend, if you are just starting out in crafting, you don't have a lot of things, nested shape dies are a really good place to start. So these come in handy so much. But if you don't have dies, you could always use a circle punch. If you happen to have a circle punch, you could also find something that's about the right size and then trace it out. So that's an option as well. So you do have a couple of different options for how to cut out a circle. And if it comes to it, you can just skip the circle and use a different shape. So you can always just leave this as a square and craft with it as a square instead. So that's always an option also. So this is my paper A, and half of this is going to go onto sketch number 2, and the other half will be used on sketch number 1. Now, it does actually tell you the sketch, so helpful, always giving all of the measurements. But to be honest, what you could just do is you have a cutout of a certain size, just find whatever circle die fits. I think that's kind of the easiest thing to do. Don't stress too much about measuring things because it's totally fine. Nobody's gonna know whether that's exactly 3 inches or not. But if you're curious, let's find out if it is. I don't think it is because the paper is exactly 3 inches. So if I line this up at the 4-inch mark, the cutting line comes to maybe, I think it's more like closer to 2 3/4. And so maybe I could find a larger die where it would fit. If we're curious, we could always just go up a size. The thing with nested shape dies is that with circles, the aspect ratio is always the same. It's going to be 1 to 1. So I could die cut like this, but what's going to happen is I really have to be super on point, and I got to really tape this down well. But this will die cut because you can see at the edges, the cut line is still on the paper, but let's just make it easy on myself. Give myself a little bit of wiggle room. So the challenge does show you all of the cutting lines, but that's not meant to stress you out. It's not meant to really be overly prescriptive. It's just that sometimes people like to know, and they do like to be precise about things. So if that's you, awesome. But if not, just do this. Find what fits. And I remember as I was prepping that I was thinking I'm gonna put on the other half of this that solid green. So once I cut this out, I am going to use the same die to cut this. And I also remember thinking when I prepped this that I would want an outline, possibly, of both circles. And I think that's what that piece is for. So, oops, that didn't cut all the way through, so let me just run this through again. Okay, and then I'll just grab that one size up die and cut this out just in case we want to use it. I don't know yet if I want to use it, but I remember thinking that I wanted this option, so that's why I put the piece of cardstock in here. So it's nice once you have everything prepped at this stage, then it's just maybe a little bit of die cutting, maybe a little bit of stamping if you are going to need some sentiments. I'm going to be crafting with the ephemera pack. So once I get all of these sketches done, a lot of times I actually approach this a couple of ways. Sometimes what I do is I get everything essentially looking like the sketch, and then I come back in and I do the final sentiment and image last. We'll see how I approach this one. I might do this one completely end to end, just so that you can see, and then we'll play it by ear how I approach the rest. Now for this, you can cut this. I think because there's an angle established here, I'm actually going to cut this with that angle in mind. And if you really want to be super exacting, then you could cut using the same circle. You can cut out of just like copy paper and then fold that copy paper in half so that you know exactly where the halfway point is. I'm going to eyeball it. But when we eyeball things, remember these two circles are halves that need to kind of come together. So I don't want one half to feel like it's a lot larger than the other one. And if I'm eyeballing things, I might not get it really, exact exactly in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is I am just going to temporary tape these two pieces together. They're the same size. It's just my solid green and my pattern paper. And I'm just gonna cut. And I'm gonna cut what looks like it might be in half. Now, one thing that you could do is you can line this up, and then where this corner, if you feel like this is pretty straight, line this edge at the halfway point. So this was, we said, 2 3/4. So if I line this up at 1 5/8, that should be about at the halfway point. So we'll see once I trim this if it is. Okay, I think that's pretty close to straight. All right, so there we get it. We committed to the cut. Let's see how close I got. Actually, I did pretty good. I got it pretty much in half. But if you eyeballed it and it wasn't exactly in half, because we taped these together, what you want to do is take your pattern paper on the right and then pair it with the solid color cardstock on the left, and that should make your circle whole again, because we taped them together when we cut them. So now if you bring them back together, they're gonna form, a well-formed circle. And that's just because if like this half was a little bit larger, then you know that you have it kind of paired up nicely with the right proportion of the circle left over. And then these would be another pair. But this we actually need on card number 2. So I'm gonna drop that into card number 2, and I'm just gonna drop the solid one with it too. Who knows? Maybe we'll use that. So there we have it. And then I'm a big fan of whenever there are multiple pieces that need to come together, what I like to do is I just like to tape them together with a little bit of washi. So, oh, that's a nice pair too. So I'm just going to put this together, bring our circle back together, and then tape these. So now it's one piece, and I can see how it would look with a little bit of a border, which is kind of nice. This is our paper E, and it goes right over the seam here. And then I can sort of trim that off. So here's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and get that piece down. I'll just use a bit of double-sided adhesive, and I'm just gonna put this right across there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to line this up. There's a little bit that hangs off the edge, and what I'm gonna do is you can trim that. Oh, actually, you know what I want? I want the more solid part on this end and the more open part on the other end. I feel like that's gonna create a nicer border. Okay, so there's a little bit that's hanging off the edge. You can trim that by hand, or if you want, what you could do is, maybe I'm gonna take this option. I'm gonna put my die back in, and I'm just gonna cut that little bit off, but I'm gonna cut it off with my die. And you know, totally optional. The only reason why to do this is so that you get that really nice, you know, professional die cut edge all the way around. So I am just going to, and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape just to make sure it's stuck down. Doesn't go anywhere. And there we have it. Really nice professional cut edge. I know it's just a little bit of pattern paper that we cut off, but I feel like that just makes it, the finish of the card, a little bit nicer. Alrighty, so now we can just finish assembling the card. So what I'm gonna do is if it hits a sketch where I feel like it might be a little bit tricky, I'm going to I'll go ahead and do it in real time, but otherwise I'm going to speed this up just so that you can watch the process. I'm going to put it to some music, and then that way you can just sit back and watch these cards come to life. I do have my ephemera pack here, and I'm also going to use some of my ultimate sentiments. I've got this, it hasn't released yet, but I think it'll be useful to use, especially when I've got so many cards going on here. This set here is from Hedgehog Hugs, and then I've got some from my birthday set, so I think I might pull that out as well. And if you don't already have it, the Ultimate Sentiments Universal Die, really, I think fabulous, because you can get 10 sentiments all in one, and you have 5 additional dies to cut the mats and layers to put behind those sentiment strips. And then that way you can kind of lift your sentiments off the page a little bit, which sometimes can help it be a little bit more legible off of your project. And so this is a great option. It's only available at the Not Too Shabby shop. There was, at the time that I released this, a stamp set that came out, and that stamp set is now sold out, and I don't know if there's going to be a restock of it. So really, as with anything, if you see it at the Not Too Shabby shop and you like it, buy it. Don't rely on there being a restock, because that's never going to be a guarantee. And so that's the stamp set that came out at launch. Hopefully we'll be doing more, but I've been releasing a lot of digitals, and the Ultimate Sentiments have actually been incorporated as digital sentiment PDFs that are standalone. I have a set that's standalone for the holidays. I'll be doing more of those, and as well the sentiments, Ultimate Sentiments have been included in my digital card making kits as well. So you got some options for making this die super useful, valuable, and that's just going to increase as I put out more and more digital sentiments, and hopefully Jamie will do more physical stamps as well. But it's a lot easier and faster for me to put out a digital than it is to have a stamp produced, and so that's why I kind of like having that option. And plus, on top of everything else, with digitals, it's instant. You don't need a color printer, because usually you're probably just going to use black and white printing. And so I think it's really accessible to a lot of people. Okay, so that's my plan of attack. I also have, just to show you, I've got my extras here, pattern paper and the coordinating solid color cardstocks. I've got that. I also have a variety of different sheets of half sheets that I'm going to use as my card bases. So don't forget, sometimes it's kind of nice to use a colored cardstock as your card base. So that's always a good option for using up your cardstocks. All right, let's dive in and sit back and watch